Well, good morning again, and thank you for joining us today. Today, we are going to be talking about ASU's personalized graduate admissions, and you'll hear us refer to it as ASU PGA. It's a little bit easier to say versus the whole thing. And what we're going to talk about is actually streamlining and automating the admissions process through the undergraduate performance and program mapping. Okay. And here's our agenda. We're going to do a small introduction of how we got here, go through the mappings that we did, the student interface, the data and workflow, and the dashboards that we created. Okay, and I am Amy Felix. I'm with the Graduate College. I'm a business analyst.
And I'm Bailu Lee. I'm the Business Intelligence Associate.
I'm Melissa Susi. I'm the Planning and Data Analyst Principal.
And even though we're your presenters, this project was actually a university-wide project. We partnered with UX Research, with Ed Plus, with Enrollment Services, with admissions, with the actual academic units, our own teams at Graduate College within operations and program support. So it was actually, and our own team actually in the data and tech team, it wasn't just the three of us, but our whole data and tech team really came together and really did what we could to make this a good, successful program. So we're not the only ones that did all this work. All right. What was our goal? Our goal was to increase a master's degree enrollment and increase access to students. Every year, thousands of ASU undergraduate students graduate, but never apply to any ASU graduate students and graduate programs. Sorry about that. So I'll do a did you know? This is for the 21-22,000 academic year. I'm going to have somebody guess how many ASU undergraduates with a 3.0 or higher did not apply to an ASU master's program. Any guesses? You just yell them out. 80%? Any more guesses? 40? The number is, do a drum roll, 16,000 students. I know you guys are doing percentages, but it's actually 16,000. Sorry, I should have asked for a number. It's actually 16,000 students did not apply, and they were actually eligible to be admitted to a graduate program. So our goal was to actually find a way to automatically admit these students into selected ASU's master's programs. So we had to find a new way to automate this process, to admit them and just make it an easier process for them. So up front, we had to identify them, who was eligible for these programs. We also needed to send them a notification. That way they knew how to accept that program that they were qualified for. And again, the avenue to accept that program. And the big automated piece is admit them without any other just activity on their end as a student. All right. So one, we had to first map these programs. We had to identify which programs, graduate programs, were going to be part of our new PGA program. Identify also the graduation term, because that's going to change each time, and each time can be a new program. Because new programs are also introduced each semester. Also, define that capacity that the academic unit has for each of the campuses and terms. And all these items are all defined by the actual academic unit. It wasn't Graduate College making these decisions, but the actual units. So they really had to look at their programs and see, okay, here's my graduate program, here's who I want to allow to come in without having to do the application process. And with that, some of the things that they also had to set for the undergraduate program was a GPA. They were going to allow the minimum GPA and decide, am I only going to accept Barrett's honors students or all students? So there's some decisions that they really did have to make. So we also looked, okay, there's my college, here's the programs in my college, and here's other programs that are not in my college. So as an academic unit, I had to look, okay, I have the MA of Geography, and I'm going to allow those that have a BA in Geography with a 3.1 GPA into my program. And I'm also going to allow those with the BS in Geography, and they can have a 3.0, and those with the BS in Geographic Information Science have a 3.2. But you know what? I can expand this program. So I'm going to look outside of my college, and I'm going to actually also accept students with a 3.75 from the BA Sustainability. And for the BS, they can have a 3.5 GPA. So now I have 5 different undergraduate programs mapped to one graduate program. And vice versa, again, the college that is not mine or another one, like for example, MA Sustainability, you know what? I want to accept undergraduate students with a BS of I always have problems with that one, Geographic Information Science. And for the M Sustainability, I want to also do the BS of Geographic Information Science. So if you look, there's a bunch of arrows everywhere. How do we map this? How do we decide how to get the data correct and validated, and where we can produce dashboards and track these students? So what we did is we went ahead and there's an entryway into the mapping. We decided to go into PeopleSoft and use PeopleSoft to do this and use a fluid style to do it. Again, each cohort is defined by the graduation term of that undergraduate student. And once they pick the undergraduate term and the graduate plan, we save that into the PS a table. We call it the parent table, which we'll go into later on in the presentation how we're using that information. So this just defines the actual graduate program. So once I define it, then I have a choice, because this program is offered in LA, offered online, offered in the spring, offered in the summer, offered in the fall. Now I, as an academic unit, have to decide what capacity do I have for these students. So I decided I actually don't have any capacity in Los Angeles, but I do have some online. And here's how many students I'm going to accept online. And all this information is actually saved now on our graduate pathway table. I was going to say it out, but they're kind of cumbersome to name the whole actual table. Again, this defines the capacity and the campus and term for each of those programs. So now I want to select, okay, which undergraduate programs do I want to allow in? Okay, here's where I'm going to allow the campus to grow that program and the semester. Now, which undergraduate programs? And we have actually different options. So say, I want to just include all a program, one program, everybody from liberal arts, I want to include them. Or I want to include just that organization, that specific organization, they have skills that I can use for my master's program, or I just want to do a plan. So if I pick the program, we actually do list, and this has been an iteration that we've had, is how many undergraduate programs are under that program, under that graduate program. I'm sorry, wrong way. How many undergraduate programs under that prog? And then here I can define the GPA and if they're arts honors only or all students. Same thing for org. I have 15. And here I'm going to decide to do a 3.25, and I'm going to accept everybody. Or I can just do one. I'm just going to do this one. So we're giving different options for the academic units to, again, make it easy for them to use, and actually also us to capture that data. So once I decide that, then here's all the undergraduate programs here. And we actually also made it. So now at this point, you can actually even more customize it. So you know what, I have a little pointer here. Let's see if you can see it. So for sustainability, you know what, I'm going to lower that GPA. I'm going to give you a bigger view here. So I want to go ahead and lower that GPA, and I'm going to change this one here to accept all students. So again, we made it so we can feed all that data and you can still customize it. You're not just stuck into just one. And then we do have a checks and balance, because right now this is all done manually. So we do have it where if one person inputs it, a second person will go in and see, okay, is this the correct information that the academic unit wanted? And this information for the undergraduate programs, the entryways, are saved on this undergraduate table. All right, and then we also have different mechanisms where you can actually search by any of these criteria. And I'm going to search by spring 2024. And here's all the programs that I have for, sorry, I did the wrong one. You told me not to do it, and then I did end, sorry. Okay. All right, sorry about that. Okay, let me go next. Okay, so here's all the programs I have. And here we have, again, the college, the program name, the plan code, and then how many undergraduate programs are actually mapped to that graduate program and for what semester. And here's a little bit more zoomed out view of it. Okay. So to sum up the mapping tables, again, the academic unit sees, okay, which program do I want? What graduate program do I want? So I need to identify that. And again, that's who defines this. They define the campus, the term, and the capacity for each term and campus, I'm sorry. The undergraduate programs to be mapped, and for each undergraduate program, what is a GPA requirement? And again, am I accepting only Barrett's honors students or all? So these are the three tables that we use to interact with the whole mapping. And you'll see later how we actually bring that in. And this is all done in PeopleSoft. So all this information is captured and actually inputted into PeopleSoft. So now that we know the mapping, now we need to give students an option. Okay, so we need to identify those students. So how do we identify them? Well, first of all, the trigger is they need to apply to graduate. So if no matter what the other criteria, if they have not applied, then they're not going to show up on the eligibility list. Also, some other things that we have considered, if they're already admitted to a graduate program, they've already done what we're wanting to increase in that admissions in that capacity. And then also accelerated masters are also on the path already to graduate studies. Then also, they can't have any type of deans of student hold on their record. And for this one, again, it's all done in PeopleSoft. We created a batch process that runs. It captures the students that are eligible to receive the offer. And it also, we use that throughout the process to record different statuses of the student. And again, this trigger is apply to graduate. And then again, the other bullet points have what I've already listed. Again, the table also will record the student's actual GPA at the time that we pull the list. Their undergraduate degree, and if they're Barrett's honors students, and say yes, no. Now on this one, and they will appear on it if they are mapped or if they qualify for at least one program. So if they meet the GPA requirements for only one program, then they will appear on the eligibility list. But if they don't, then they will not appear on the list. Okay, and the way we launch this is the day after the deadline to apply to graduate, the next day we're sending out the initial list. Okay. All right, so where do we put this? Again, we created another table it's called, we call it the eligibility table. During this batch process, we also add a security role. That way they are identified within the roles because they're going to have to be able to access the student interface. If they have the role, then they can access it. We also, in that process, also add a checklist item to my ASU, and I'll be showing that here later. And then where we're tracking the student progress is eligible. If you're the initial pool, you are automatically classified as eligible. Once you've gone through the student interface, we have a point where if they click on it, it changes it to started, and I'll show you where that is. Also, who's accepted, who's declined, and if you have not made a decision by the time the deadline has come, then we change the status to canceled, because we're going to have another iteration next semester for the next cohort. Okay, so now we know who. Now we need to tell them that they got offered. So here's what we did on this one, and we used a ton of systems for this. PeopleSoft, my ASU, Salesforce, Marketing Cloud. We built a website in Drupal 10. We used Alteryx. So the initial offer is through an email that they get. And we also, with the checklist item, put it on my ASU. So through here, we have a couple of things that are very similar. One is the actual, we have a video that Dean Wentz has recorded. We also have the link to go into the student interface, and then the deadline. And again, it's going to be very repetitive, so we do not miss that they know that these things are there. Also, we have, again, the website that we created. We call it the FAQ. It has a lot of information on it. And then an email address. If they have any questions, they can email. That goes to Salesforce, and we answer it from there. Also, so the initial poll, we do it as a graduate college, but after that, there are weekly reminders sent to students that are in eligible or started status to remind them to make a decision, and that we partner with enrollment services and Ed Plus to send those emails out. So they have been very helpful doing that for us weekly. See. Okay. All right. And here's a little snippet of the website that we created. Here's the beginning part and then some according information. We try to put as much information that be relevant to them that, that they can search themselves and get that information. Okay, so now I'm sorry, this is my old world. Students, now students get to choose what program that they belong to. And then you may ask yourself too, you know what, I got an email. I just told Melissa, my friend, that, hey, I got an email. You need to, here's the link, go check it. Well, if Melissa is not eligible, then it will just tell her she doesn't have access. However, if she is eligible but just didn't see the email for some reason, her, I might kind of go here. Sorry, the first step, she will actually get access to this site. However, her options will not be my options. Her options will be actually her options. So we put that in there too. That way we can kind of control who sees it and who doesn't. And it's, again, because it's her offers, it's customized to what she did on her work. Let's see. So here's our first step that they come to. Again, we have the same things, the FAQs, we have the video again, the email address, information. So again, if they have questions, they can see it. So now they're ready to see what their offers are. They can click on this button here on the bottom, continue to view program options. And once they click on that, the eligibility table actually updates to started as their step. So now they're no longer under eligible status, they change to started. So that lets us know that they actually, sorry. Oh, hold on. Kind of going ahead of myself. Let me come back. Okay. Another way to what we did is, it's very easy if you see this email that it's a scam. How do I know it's a scam? That's the one reason why we included the video to help put validity into the program. Also, we have their information. We have their name, their ID, their graduation semester, and their program and their campus. Again, adds more validity that, you know what, this was my program. It was real. And again, the video from Dean Wentz also helps out that it's actually her talking to the student, congratulating them. Okay, so then, okay, so now I selected my program. So here's a list here. And actually this one, I think, no, this one goes up to that bottom. There's some that have gone further down based on their undergraduate program or what they map to. Here's a little bit bigger version. So what we did is the ones that are within your own college, we put them on top. And then those that are programs that you qualified for that are not in your college, you put them on the bottom. That way it differentiates, here's what my college, and maybe I'm looking for something different. Also, if you have a question about the program, we actually are tapping into the information in PeopleSoft and Degree Search to actually put this separately. The reason we did it separate is because if you go through Degree Search, there's an admit button there. And if you click that, they're going to go through the regular process. They're not going to go through our automated process. So a way to help avoid that, we actually are linking information from PeopleSoft to build this Degree Search mockup. And it's all the exact information. It just doesn't have the apply here button that's on the right. Okay, so on this one, actually, let me kind of go back. Sorry about that. Okay, no, okay, I'm going back. So on this one, I decided I'm going to look at the Global Technology and Development MS. And here it shows all the campuses and terms and how many open seats are available. So this is very dynamic. So as soon as somebody accepts it, it actually will decrease by 1. And then we also always have a return to program selection. Again, if I can change my mind, you know what, I'm going to go look at something else. But on this one, they're going to click select, and it takes them to a summary page. And again, more information. Again, the click to the program. Also, we added a link for tuition, FAQs, any information about funding. And you know what? I can still change my mind up to this point. And if they could do that as many times as they want to, click on change selection, and it will not time out or tell them you've changed your mind too many times. No, we want them to click on it, because if you saw on this one had a big list of different programs, we want them to be able to see that list. And again, all this information again is saved in PeopleSoft, and that's what we're using to power this student interface. And on this one too, yeah, so I'm going to accept the offer on this one. So accepted. Also, once you accept a program, that's it. You accepted that one. And if you want to change it, you do need to go through the regular change request that is on my ASU, and that goes through admissions. So again, we're just worrying about the first admission piece of it. And then we have a survey. Again, the FAQs again, the email again, because they're going to still have questions, even though they already accepted and made a decision, is there. And then the program they selected and by when, and actually recorded by is actually their name, because it shows that I'm the one that did it as a student. And again, here, the systems that are using just to power this part of it is PeopleSoft, the website Drupal 10, because that's what that link is going to go to, Salesforce, the emails go to Salesforce, and then the surveys done in Qualtrics. Okay, and then those was the decline. And we have students that will decline because they've made other decisions. Again, they can return, they click on decline here, and it takes them to a Are You Sure page. And again, they can change their mind again. And if they do decide to go to a different program, we provide those links. Here's how to apply for a different program that's not on your list, or here's to view other programs. And again, and once they click either submit or I confirm, it does, again, go back to the eligible table and actually puts either declined or accepted as their status. So that milestone changes. And here's the example of when they decline. So it looks pretty similar to the accept one. All right. And here's what we did, and we actually partnered with our UX research team here, is we wanted to get students' feedback. So this iteration, what you're seeing now, is not even the initial one that we started with, because we really took a lot of feedback. We moderated one-on-one sessions in Zoom with them, and they had a lot of support on that call. The note taker, the interviewer, we had tech support. We had 8 different sessions. We observed the student interacting with the email, with the FAQ page, with accept or decline buttons. And then we asked them what they liked about their experience as well. So we're really thankful for that, because with that, we were able to actually make some changes to button colors, button positions, some verbiage to make it clear, and it really helped out make it a good experience for the student. Right. And then, so they have that survey here. It's at the end. Now, if a student goes back and clicks on the email, they're going to get that summary page again. And again, they can go and click on the survey there again as well. Okay, so now they made a choice. And this is the part that we really wanted to automate through PeopleSoft, is this actual admission process. Because here, again, they are not filling out an application. There's no other recommendation letters or any materials needed. There's no application fee either. They don't have to pay anything application-wise. Deposit is a little bit different. We would talk about that. But application fee, there is no fee. Everything at this point is done at the back end, and I'm going to show you how we did that to automate it. Okay. All right. So again, we created a different table, which is called the accept table. So this lists all the accepted programs and the students that have accepted for that cohort. From there, we created a batch process where it actually creates the application. So it pulls the data from the accept table and it creates the application record. So this is the part where the students usually would do manually. We're doing it for them on this program. And it identifies, again, the records are identified on the Adam Apple table. The action reason is we don't have to say them right. DMT and the D, is it DIN? Okay. And then the prog reason is auto. So for these students, we have a prog reason is auto. So if we ever go into G portal and look at their admission application, it's actually created for them with that reason. And once the application is created, then the students will be matriculated within 24 hours and it's through the regular matriculation process. So we set it up so at that point, it just runs through with everybody else, with every other student that has applied. So it really is truly automated. The other thing, so I'm not gonna, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I'm getting excited on this next piece because it was important for students. So for the graduate application portion, again, they're automatically admitted and matriculated. So that's all done in PeopleSoft with batches and reading the different tables that we have. There's no materials again. For international students, they do have to follow the same I-20 processes, and that, again, routes through admissions. They're treated like any other admission students that have applied to graduate programs. No fee. The Adam Apple number is created at this process, and then the admission letter is also sent to them. Again, that's part of the normal process. And the important part for them, and we saw this during the UX sessions, they like the confetti. So when they go to open my ASU the next time, they get the congratulations confetti. That one was like really important to them. So we try to make sure, okay, let's get confetti on there. All right. And some of the feedback that we got from the surveys is, again, we use it to benchmark their satisfaction in the program, either if they declined or accepted. So even though they declined, they also got an email survey link. We wanted to see why. And we wanted to identify weaknesses and strengths to help improve everything. And again, we used Qualtrics. Actually, we didn't. Actually, on this part, we partnered with the UX research team. They use Qualtrics, and they're the ones that helped us and really gathered the data for us, which we were really appreciative of that. And some of the feedback was it's easy to navigate. The process was simple. They liked there was no application fee or letters that they had to submit. And it removed the stress. A lot really said it removed my stress from having to think about graduation, my finals, and having to apply. So some of the information we got back is it really inspired students to apply for graduate school, which is one of our key goals, having them apply. They introduced students to degrees that they wouldn't have considered, and then they also found it rewarding that their undergraduate work was acknowledged by the university. Here's some quotes. So when they were actually asked, what did you like most about the personalized graduate admission process? This is what one student said. And this is another a little bit heartwarming quote. You know, they took it by surprise, which it was because it's a new program. They appreciate, they allowed them to look at different opportunities and some that they wouldn't even have considered if it wasn't for the PGA program. All right, so now quiz time again. Okay, so we did have 14 units participate. How many bachelor's programs do you think were involved, number-wise? No guesses? 200, got 200. Going once? It was actually 470 undergraduate degree programs are mapped to at least one graduate program. And how many master's programs have we mapped? More guesses. I know I'm making you think. 300? Any more guesses? 100? Okay. He was closer, I'm sorry. It was actually, and I actually had shown it already earlier. 151 master's programs are currently mapped to at least one undergraduate program. Yes. So we actually have programs that have, just have one mapping, but we do have some programs that are mapped to 470 undergraduate programs. And then how many do you think students have? So we started this in spring of 24 was our first cohort. We did one in summer. And we're in the middle of the one for fall. So how many do you think have received an offer and were eligible? 10,000. No? Close, actually. It was 18,000. It was actually 10,000 in the summer, but 18,548 have received an offer. And how many think have accepted? It's actually numbers as of this morning at 8:30. How many think have accepted? I like your guess. 10,000. I like yours too. Not quite, but it was 1,293 students have accepted. So these are 1,200 students that would not most likely have been in the graduate program. And we're going to see what that looks like later on during the presentation. So I'm going to pass it over to Bailu now.
Thank you, Amy. So yeah, a lot of information, right, for this entire process with all the efforts from the teamwork, all the different units, and yeah, a lot of us actually get involved in this one. But this, what I will cover is about Alteryx workflow. Okay, so basically I'll break down to three parts. I will first talk about the user tables we have for ASU PGA. So basically it's a kind of reinforce what you actually heard about the business process, but we look at it from the data perspective with fields and values. And then we'll talk about the Alteryx workflow. I will give you the main components we actually have in the entire pathway. And also, as you heard, that we actually launched the ASU PGA every semester. And after launch, we also want to track all the new eligible students and also track the students who accept the offer, like, do they make any changes? So we'll also cover this part. So first, we'll take a look at the user tables, starting with the mapping tables. So we have one parent table and two child tables. And as you can see that, as what Amy already mentioned, we start with the expected graduation time for the undergrads. So if the expected grad term is 2247, that means they are graduating for 2024, which is this semester. So we also show the mapping, the academic career, either grad or law. We also show all the mapping graduate ACAD programs. And we also include the effective date, effective sequence, and sequence number, so we can keep a good track of all the modifications throughout the time. And we also want to make sure that we right now using the most current mapping rules. So this is the parent table. Then we have the two-child table that inherits the above key fields, but they also have different fields separately. So the left side, you can see this is the grad pathway. So this one defines like the enrollment cap and when and where the undergrad students will be mapped to the grad programs. And on the right side, this is the undergrad entry. You can see those fields, and especially for the GPA, actually depends on the programs. They will set up different minimum GPAs to map to the grad programs. We also have a flag for Barrett's honor students. So some of the programs may only admit the Barrett honor students. So with the parent table and two-child table, that actually we have like the structure of the mapping using those three tables. And once we have all of the mapping ready, we'll move on to the student data. So as Amy just mentioned, we have the eligible table. Okay, so for the eligible table, we track all the eligible undergrad students' ASU PJ journey. So we start with identifying students with their MID. We show their expected grad term to define them to which cohort they would be belong to. We show all of their undergrad detailed information and also their cumulative GPA so that we can know which programs they can be mapped to based on their academic performance. We also have the milestone, as Amy has already explained. We have 5 of them. Once they are all poured into our data, they start with eligible. Once they proceed with next steps, they will show as started. If they move further, they could either accept the offer or decline the offer. But towards the end of the circle, we will mark all of the ones who did not take extra actions as canceled. And we also have the Barrett's honor students flags there. So this is all the eligible students. We actually keep track of all of their status throughout this journey. Once the students accept this offer, they click the button, say accept, and then they will be populated into the accept table. So with the accept table, it's actually show all the detailed their placements in grad college, in grad programs. Start with MID, the expect term, and also all of their accepted information for the grad programs. Their student career numbers, their colleges, their school department, their academic programs, and also which campus they will be attending. So we actually identify those students as PGA students, so that will be different and distinguished from other application process. So we also identify their midterm for their grad programs and identify which session they attend, whether they attended the regular AEC session or session B. So with all of the mapping structure and also all the student data ready, so now we can move on to the next step, which is build the Ultrix workflow. So with the Ultrix workflow, our original workflow is a little bit bulky and it's a little bit hard to skim through. So I've just built the main components so that you can see. So the data and tables we actually pull from all the ASU PGA ones we pull from PeopleSoft, and all of the rest of the table we actually pull from Redshift. So we will start with the first part, we have the main query for all the eligible students. We want to have a complete picture of the journey throughout. And then we join it with their personal information, including the contact information, as well as their demographic information. So now we have all the eligible students ready. Then we will actually left join with the accept table. That means we keep all of the eligible students there, and we actually add the accept table so that we actually create 2 flags. One flag is for accept flag, so we know those students accept the the program offer. And we also have another flag called accept other college flag. This is for college level. So if the students actually accept offers from other college, we can also track that. So now we actually add the eligible students there. Sorry, the accept students here. So now what do we want to look? We actually want to look about their enrollment part, okay? So we want to know their enrollment status in their admit term for their grad program. We also want to know whether they have paid the enrollment deposit, if any. So we actually pull those tables from the Redshift to cover their enrollment information. Okay, so now we have kind of a good picture of the students throughout the journey from they actually got the offer, be eligible, to they enrolled. No, then we actually want to track, do they make any changes afterwards? Okay, so we will talk a little bit more details in the next slide. And with all of those information ready throughout the pathway, now we can generate outputs. So you can see we have, we generate outputs to AUDB tables, and we generate the university-wide one, so we can see an overview of all the participants and their journey. And we're also doing it for the college level to give them more details. So this is the general workflow of our the ASU PGA journey. And then let's take a look, like after the students get accepted, what are the changes we're tracking? So we're tracking those kind of changes. We're using the PeopleSoft tables, one accept table and the two of the ACAP plan table to make sure we can catch any of the changes they have made after admission. So those are the tracking that we are doing. Then also what we actually also have is we don't want to miss any eligible students. Okay, so we actually do, as Amy also mentioned, the batch process every Sunday night, so we can catch reload all the eligible students. And on Monday morning, we actually will filter out those newly eligible students, and we will do the verification. Once we finish the verification, we'll send it to the marketing and communication groups in grad college, and they will actually create the email through Salesforce Market Cloud. They will create the email to send the offer letters to the new eligible students. So with this process, we want to make sure that we stay current with all the students that we could include, and that we actually could, the frequency would be every week we will do that. So that wraps up my part. So I'll hand over to Melissa for reporting.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Okay, so now we have all this data. And so what do we do with it all? Okay, so what is the next button? This one. Oh, wrong way. Okay, so with all this data now curated and stored as user tables in PostgreSQL, sorry, we are ready to ingest all this data into Tableau. This step allows us to organize and visualize all this data to make meaningful insights for grad college administration and all the colleges, so they can see and track progress. And we offer all the metrics that we want to track, admissions, trend analysis, and anything that would help any strategic making for colleges and for grad college. So this, you can see here, this workflow involves 3 technologies that we use. We use PostgreSQL, which is our AUDB tables. We use Tableau for visualization and reporting, and we also use the analytics portal, which is powered by Drupal. So this setup reduces, well, actually, let me start by saying that we do all the pre-processing in Alteryx so that we can reduce the load off of Tableau, because a lot of the calculations and all the large data sets hamper Tableau, and it slows it down, whether you're ingesting and you're publishing or if you're viewing the dashboard on the other end. Once the dashboards are built, they are published into the analytics portal, like I said, and this is the central hub of where all of our ASU PGA dashboards are stored. We have all the dashboards for all the colleges, We have a university-wide report, and we also report on the mapping, the college mapping. So the colleges and grad colleges can look at the mapping and vet and confirm which undergrad programs are mapped to their respective graduate programs. So in short, this integrated setup using PostgreSQL, Tableau, and Drupal empowers the graduate college and to access crucial insights efficiently, supporting strategic planning. Sorry. I'm not used to holding a microphone, so. Okay. Okay, so the first dashboard in our analytics portal is the ASU Personalized Graduate Admissions Program Mapping Dashboard. From the Auto Admit Grad Plan Map user table, which was created through the Alteryx workflow, this report leverages 19 key fields, primarily string values, with GPA and graduate capacity being the only numeric values here. This report is presented in a tabular format. This is a very simple report listing undergraduate programs mapped to their corresponding graduate programs. It provides essential details such as the campus, the session, their admit term, required undergraduate GPA, graduate program capacity. This dashboard was straightforward. It didn't require any additional calculations. Out of the 26 fields available in our user table, only 19 were used. And this report assists colleges and graduate college to vet, again, the mapping to the graduate programs. It's not intuitive. The second dashboard in our analytics portal is the CRM community. To take action, whether to accept or decline. This report was the simplest to create. Utilizing only 5 of the 66 available fields, it's a straightforward table based on student IDs, sourced from the admissions tracking university user table. Okay, sorry. Okay, so before diving into the final dashboard, I want to provide some background on the original scope of this project. Initially, our plan was to create a single admissions tracking dashboard driven by one workflow, one user table. And the goal was to allow users to drill down by college within a unified dashboard. However, when we loaded the data, I don't know if anybody's ever used or built dashboards. We loaded the data into the Shell dashboard in our staging environment, and we quickly encountered some issues, processing issues. The AWS environment struggled due to insufficient memory, too many records, leading to crashes. The initial dashboard included a substantial number of filters, along with heavy calculations, and we had 3 lists of eligible students, accepted students, and declined students. So this was a very burdensome report, and our dashboard would crash constantly. It was so irritating. So we decided to do a workaround. We created 16 different outputs from that one workflow that Bailu created. One university-wide, one for each of the separate colleges, and one for Ed+. And then we fed each of those single outputs into 16 different dashboards. And it was the best option we could offer at the time. It was a quick turnaround. We needed to provide a report to administration and to the colleges. So instead of a single dashboard, we created 16 different dashboards. The solution allowed us to meet the immediate reporting needs while maintaining system performance. So the university-wide summary report utilizes 32 of the 90 available fields from the admissions tracking university user table. You'll see here. Okay. So this is what the university-wide dashboard will look like on the first sheet. This report actually consists of multiple other sheets. I won't show those to you today because it contains sensitive data, lists of students and their information. This is a high-level summary of admissions tracking. After meeting with the stakeholders here at Grad College, we created a report that fulfilled their requirements in terms of metrics and trends to help track selectivity, yield, and ratio. The undergrad cohort filter, that's going to be the far left filter up there. You can drill down to allow users to track students at different cohorts who receive their letters. The high-level metrics are calculated at the college level at the far bottom right. For a quick view, we do have the detailed view, a more comprehensive view for each of the colleges that are stored in their individual college reports on the grad student progress page. This dashboard also contains additional views which list students and their information, but we're not going to show those right now. Additionally, to assist enrollment services, we do list all the international students that had accepted to help enrollment services and ISSE to help process those students that need to stay here within the United States. And so this particular view contains 14 worksheets, 5 filters power this dashboard. There is one above the demographic data here. That's actually a parameter we use as a filter. You can toggle the demographic information based between admitted students or accepted students and enrolled students. Okay. So the last step is publishing to the portal. And this is done through accessing the reports page on the grad student progress landing page. Once you publish the dashboard to Tableau server, you grab the URL and you access this page and you enter all the information into the edit button once you click to the report that's not published, and then you just publish it. And ET has made it very simple for us to manage our own content on our website, so this is very helpful for us. There are additional steps I'm not going to go into because I don't actually do this part. That would be by Lou. But this dashboard is available to everyone who has access to the grad student progress page in the analytics portal. So with all of these new initiatives at ASU and with grad college, you might be asking, is this really worth the effort? Are we moving the needle? While it's always difficult to show calculations or causation, we have tried to look at the data in a way that answers this question. This slide shows new master's students each fall semester who enter with ASU bachelor's degrees only, not students who come from another undergraduate institution. You'll see that the enrollment has remained steady and consistent over 5 years. Fall 2024 semester saw a 16% increase in graduate enrollment from those who graduated with an ASU bachelor's degree, where 13% of the fall population is attributed to the ASU PGA program. Okay.
Comes back to me. All right. Oops. Sorry. Thank you. All right. So I know it was a lot of information, a lot of screens and a lot of systems that we showed you. So now it's like, okay, what's next? Like, there's any more? There actually is. So right now, actually, to go from one cohort semester to the next, we actually have to manually copy everything from that first semester to the next one. We do have a copy button that we created where you can just copy and it just copies to the next semester. However, that takes time and resources. So our next step is to actually try to automate that process where we create some type of, we're not sure what type yet, but a process in People software, it will copy everything for us from one semester to the next. That way we can spend our time other places, because yeah, it is very time consuming to do that, because again, we do the input, then we do the validation. So there's 2 resources that you have taken at least. And then there's new programs too. So then you got to add the new programs. So we're working on that. Another one is, and actually this one is more closer to fruition. This is in development right now. Right now, currently the graduate college staff are the ones that are actually doing all of the inputs, while we are going to here soon actually have the academics units take that power and control their programs, where they're going to be able to go in and during a certain time window, make those changes, either copy to a new program, not continue, or actually add more programs. And we've been seeing adding more, not actually removing. So that's been a good trend. We started with 131 in spring. And again, we're at 151 now in the fall. So it's been taking, there's been progress. So we're developing, actually this is in development again, like I said, right now. And it includes adding a new security role for the academic units, for more other graduate college staff also to help with some of that, just for questions, just to see what's going on. And also creating a new interface also to actually define those windows, those time windows, like of when you can edit and when you can't. Also, we're adding an export feature to Excel, because if you have 450 undergraduate programs and you need to look through them for that one graduate program, that's a little, if you saw how that list was, it just scrolls down. It could be kind of hard on the interface. So we actually are creating an export feature where it just a simple Excel file where the academic units can go ahead and go through it. The next thing too, we're creating, actually we're using now this process where we're automating the admissions process by creating the admissions application into another program. Currently, if you're in an accelerated master's program, you actually have to apply to graduate. Apply for that master's program that you're on track on. And it's just very cumbersome. We already have you tagged as somebody in the accelerated master's program. You're on track. So to help alleviate that extra step, we're working on automating that piece. So that's in current development as well. So we're using the same interface, but using it for a different program. So the other okay, the other one is again with tables. So we're creating a unified user table that will be used to have a single dashboard. We're looking at different options, like what Melissa said, we broke it before. We're trying not to break things, so we're looking at different options, and then we'll have the ability to drill down by college. So, and then again, we're now, because this is our now third cohort, the first one now has started their graduate programs this semester. Now we're going to have data to look at retention, look at success rates, completion. So we're excited for that piece of it. And then also now we're also this is also in development, is integrating the ASU PJ information into Salesforce. That way we can use it, the academic units can use it. Ed Plus is really using that information when they send the reminders. Different units can use that information and really target those students that are classified as ASU PJ. And there's more, but those are still down the line, but these are the immediate things that we're working on right now. All right. So I know we threw a lot at you. Hopefully we want to say thank you for sitting through that, and just wonder if anybody has any questions. We're opening this up for questions now. Hold on. Let me bring this down so that the recording can hear it.
Thank you for the presentation. I know in the beginning, when you guys were gathering all the data from like PeopleSoft and Salesforce, I was wondering, did y'all also gather data from DARS by chance, or UAchieve or eAdvisor?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, we didn't. We just use PeopleSoft data. Undergraduates, we usually mostly use, again, did they apply to graduate? From there, we just grab from different tables to grab the student information.
Thank you.
Yes. Good question. Thank you. Another question back here.
Thank you very much. My question is about, so you have the ability for programs to put in capacity, so how many spots they have open. Do you run into where there's more students who are eligible than spots, and how does your system account for that?
Good question. And actually, I did not put that part in the presentation just because of the time, but yes, so that is a possibility. And what happens, and again, if you saw how there's a ticker, how many seats are available, so say it will actually say if there's no seats, we'll say no capacity, and we actually change that button from select to waitlist. So there's a pseudo waitlist process right now. There's no automation on that piece. It really just goes to a Google Docs at this point, and they can fill it out. So that's on the further part of next steps of how to automate that and make that more PeopleSoft driven versus going to Google Sheet. Yeah, and we track those too. So as a graduate college, our operations staff will look at those that did fill out a wait list and say, I want this program at this term. We'll actually talk to the units and see, okay, here's a person, what do we need to do? Do you have more capacity? Do you not? It's a discussion, but we're trying to automate that piece so we can just have a clearer path.
So currently determining like which student gets a spot open, which student is listed, is that manual or is that in the system?
It's in the system. So as soon as you click select and you accept your program, it takes that seat away, and it's very instantaneous. We've tested it where I've done one and so this gentleman has done one at the same time. Whoever has that quick quicker finger gets it. The next person gets a wait list or there's an actual message saying there's no longer seats available. So good question. Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to us. And if you have any other questions that you think of later, just let us know and we'll be happy to answer them.